In the vast, towering expanse of the Himalayas, a single man found himself trapped, isolated in a realm of ice, rock, and a ruthless, unforgiving landscape, as his world narrowed with each passing hour more ominous than the last. His journey through the mountains turned into an unimaginable nightmare. The story he would eventually tell, though horrifying, became one of survival against the most extreme elements on Earth. This is his chilling story, and as always, viewer discretion is advised. The Himalayas, with their awe-inspiring peaks and treacherous cliffs, are not just some of the world's most revered mountains, they are also some of the most dangerous. For centuries, adventurers and mountaineers have ventured into their formidable embrace, each one hoping to conquer their sheer majesty. However, many of these dreams turn into stories of horror, where the mountains don't just remain unyielding, they actively push back. One such story unfolds high above the world, where the sky seems just a little too close, and the ground beneath is made of jagged ice and snow. Here, in the region known as the death zone, the height where oxygen is dangerously low and the body starts to fail, an unimaginable journey began, whose name we now know only through whispers in mountaineering circles. Was an experienced climber, a seasoned veteran of harsh expeditions, but nothing could prepare him for what the Himalayas had in store. It was a typical day at base camp. The weather had been volatile, but the promise of clear skies ahead made the group confident that their expedition would push forward. As the group set out, the leader, a seasoned mountaineer, was determined to make good time. The man, though slightly fatigued from previous days of grueling climbs, was ready. His mind was sharp, and his heart was full of the rush that only a true adventurer could understand. But something went wrong, terribly wrong. As the team ascended, the weather shifted abruptly, as it often does in the mountains. A thick white fog rolled in, followed by freezing winds that sent a chill deep into their bones. Visibility plummeted to near zero, and the team quickly found themselves disoriented. Their path had split, and in the confusion, the man found himself separated from the others. What happened next was more than just an accident. It was a slow, creeping terror. Alone, the man struggled to retrace his steps. With each passing hour, his surroundings seemed to close in, the towering mountains casting shadows so deep that they felt like prison walls. He checked his supplies, minimal rations, a few bottles of water, and just enough oxygen to survive for a short while in the thinning air. The wind howled, and the snow began to fall heavily. In this isolated pocket of the world, the man felt as though the mountains were watching him, waiting for him to make the wrong move. He had always prided himself on his ability to navigate, but the mountains were something else entirely. The terrain was treacherous, filled with hidden crevasses and slippery, unstable ice. One wrong step could mean the end. For the first few hours, he tried to stay calm. He followed the faint trail of footprints in the snow, hoping they belonged to someone from his team. But as night fell, the realization hit him. No one would find him. He was alone. The cold set in quickly, creeping through his layers of clothing and numbing his limbs. The wind picked up, its fierce, biting gusts making it nearly impossible to move forward. He struggled to keep his focus, his mind racing through the various techniques for survival in extreme conditions that he had learned over the years. But in the Himalayas, nothing was as straightforward as it seemed. Every movement, every decision became a gamble. He could try to shelter himself from the wind, but that would only delay the inevitable. Without proper shelter, he knew he wouldn't survive the night. His only choice was to keep moving, to find a way out of this freezing hell. Hours turned into days. The man's body began to give way. His legs grew heavy, his breath shallow, and his sense of time distorted. Days merged into a haze of cold and pain. He began to see things, shadows that moved just out of his sight, whispers carried by the wind. Was it his mind playing tricks on him? Or was it something more sinister, something that only the mountains themselves could create? He had been lost for what felt like weeks, though it was only a few days. His rations were gone, and his water supply had frozen solid. He was growing weaker by the hour, the effects of oxygen deprivation setting in. His body was shutting down, but his will to survive was still strong by the third day. He realized that something far worse than physical exhaustion was taking hold. His mind was beginning to unravel. He had long since stopped hearing the sound of his own voice. His only companions were the mountains, and they were cruel, silent witnesses to his struggle. There was no sound except for the wind howling in the distance. A constant reminder of the isolation he felt. But then, just when he thought it couldn't get any worse, he heard it. A sound, faint but unmistakable a voice. For a moment, he thought it was his imagination playing tricks, but as he listened more closely, it became clear. Someone was calling his name. With what little energy he had left, he staggered toward the sound, praying that it wasn't a hallucination. But the voice grew louder, clearer. It was real. In a burst of adrenaline, he pushed himself forward, fighting through the snow and ice. The voice guided him, leading him out of the storm and toward a small cave in the mountainside. He crawled inside, collapsing onto the cold stone floor. There, in the shelter, he found warmth, though it wasn't much. He had no idea how much time had passed, but he was finally safe, or so he thought. Inside the cave, he was not alone. There, sitting in the dark, were two figures, their faces obscured by the shadows. They were still, unnervingly still, and their eyes glowed with an unnatural light. The man tried to speak, but his voice failed him. His throat was dry, cracked from the cold and the lack of water. The figures did not move, but he could feel their eyes on him, their presence like a weight on his chest. He tried to stand, to leave, but his legs betrayed him. He was too weak, too disoriented. Then, one of the figures spoke. Its voice was low, guttural, like something from the depths of the earth. "You should never have come here," it said. The man's heart skipped a beat. He tried to speak, but no words came out. The figure's gaze held him captive, and he felt himself slipping into a deep, suffocating darkness. The mountain had taken him, and now it was not going to let him go. What happened next was something he could never fully explain. The darkness consumed him, and the last thing he remembered before everything went black was the sound of cruel laughter echoing through the cave. Days later, rescuers found the cave, but there was no sign of the man. His tracks led up to the entrance, but they ended abruptly, as if he had vanished into thin air. The search parties combed the area, but the Himalayas had swallowed him whole, as it had done to so many others before him, and to this day, no one knows what happened to the man lost in the Himalayas. His story, though, serves as a chilling reminder of the mountain's power. There are places in the world where nature itself seems to turn against those who dare to challenge it. The Himalayas remain a place of mystery, their dark history etched into the hearts of those who venture too far. And to this day, their secrets are buried beneath the snow and ice, waiting for the next unwitting soul to wander in. If you like this content, please subscribe.